What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Hot Mic, brought to you here by the Outlaw Nation. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the man who is getting ready for a new year and some new scoops, the Sneider himself. Jeff Sneider, how are you, brother?
Hello, Johnny boy!
There it is. There it is.
Even 2024 had to go big.
Even wore a suit jacket for today, which I appreciate madly. Jeff, we got so much to get into. You would think the week before the New Year's news starts to slow down, things don't pop up, there's not a lot of announcements, but no, this week there's been a lot of stuff that's popped up that we're going to certainly talk about in the DC universe, a little bit in the Marvel universe. Also going to jump into some news stories that are happening all around us within entertainment and stuff like that. We'll cover all of that here on the show. We're going to get into some box office conversations, maybe even touch a little James Bond stuff, and get into some predictions for 2025, which will be in the tail end of the show. It'll be a lot of fun for sure. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, Streamlabs Super Chats are open. This is our last show of 2024. I have to say, I think, Jeff, we've given them a great year of shows. Send in your love. Send in your support here. Maybe a late Christmas gift for both of us. Send it in as we go along through the show. Streamlabs or Super Chats, Super Chats. The address is above Jeff's head. It's pinned in the chat. Jeff, how are you? How was your Christmas? Where are you at right now, emotionally and mentally, as we go into this show?
I'm wonderful. It was a fruitful year for the Sneider. I mean, you know, this was the first year I charged people and started a business and ran my own business. What a wild ride.
Very wild.
I downsized to Koreatown, but, you know, the business will be stronger for it. And, yeah, I've kind of just made up my mind. I know I'm on the right track and that I've got something. I could, I'm going to tell you, I forgot to tell you, I didn't tell you who DM'd me this morning. It was like a fan of the newsletter, a movie star. So, you know, I'm getting good words of encouragement. I'm on the right track, but I couldn't do it without, you know, all the fine people who watch the show and have supported me. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to all of them for sure. And shout out to all of you who support us every week here on the show. Already almost 300 people joining us live right off the bat to have these conversations. And I'm sure those numbers will increase as we go along. But one more time, Streamlabs Super Chats are open. Send in your love as we go along. I had a good Christmas, went up to LA, hung out with the Lady Outlaw and her family for 2 days, and then came on home, enjoyed myself a little. It's a Wonderful Life and Die Hard, a little double bill late at night there. It was a lot of fun as sugar plums were dancing in my head when I went to bed. But we're getting ready for a new year, Jeff, so we got so much to talk about today. All right, let's get into it, man. As I waste any time, let's jump into it. You know, the big news story that's popping up all over the internet today, and that is the Batman Part 2 has moved its release date. We are going to have to wait now until 2027. Remember, this film, which supposedly was scheduled to arrive in October 2025, even though James Gunn says he doesn't go and shoot a film until the script is finished, but then it was postponed to October of 2026 earlier this year. But now Variety is reporting that this will be delayed to October 1st of 2027, a full year from its second original release date there. And of course, this also came with news that Mickey 17 and Sinners are shuffling places. Mickey 17 will move from April 2025 to March of 2025, and Sinners will move to April. So that's an interesting situation because it allows Mickey 17 to play longer in IMAX theaters. Maybe they think this is going to be a massive deal for them. And taking Batman Part 2's October slot will be Alejandro Inarritu's directed film starring Tom Cruise about the most powerful man in the world who embarks on a frantic mission to prove he is humanity's savior before the disaster he's unleashed destroys everything. So, Jeff, this is massive news. It's also accompanied with something we're going to touch on as we get to the tail end of this conversation. But what's your reaction here? What do you know about what's going on? We know there's been rumors about Matt Reeves in a personal situation, but there's also script rumors. There's rumors about Gunn and Reeves maybe having friction or maybe working together. There's rumors about Batman being Robert Pattinson. What are your thoughts on all of this?
I mean, I'm not going to touch the personal situation. I think, you know, whether or not that truth comes out.
Well, people have been speculating about it online. Is the only reason I bring it up. So,
well, again, I'm not gonna go near it, but I people will feel really silly when, you know, they find out eventually, you know, maybe what happens. Right. I think that what I've been saying all along has to be the plan here, which
Mhm.
is bringing Robert into the DCU, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think like I don't understand how any of these moves make sense
Yeah.
if that's not what you're doing.
Yeah.
And listen, if everything adds up, like you said, Brave and the Bold, Andy Muschietti coming out recently saying that that's on hold. Well, why is it on hold? Is it because we're actually doing something else with Batman? You know, and like it's just if you have a Batman everybody likes and you have a Superman who I think everyone's gonna like, then you put them together in a movie and you call it World's Finest and you call it a day, right? Like, isn't that what are we doing here?
Yeah. That seems to be where we're going, and everyone's like, oh, we don't really know what's going on. I see all the pundits out there. Oh, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. Fine. But
I don't.
Huh?
And I don't.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But we can read tea leaves and you can make analysis and assessments from this situation now. They're delaying it again. They had said the script was finished. They had a second release date because they were going into shooting of this thing. Well, now you're delaying it a whole year. This is more than just moving a few scenes around. You delaying it a whole year implies that there's a lot of changes possibly coming to the script. And as you mentioned, Andy Muschietti now on the podcast, on a Spanish podcast there, claiming that California Secreta, claiming that that Brave and the Bold has been postponed, and now he's working on another project. I've told you all for months that Muschietti has been quietly moved off that project as the director. I think they're going to announce it, like at 5 p.m. on a Friday. He's going to be gone. The fact that he's even saying they're postponing Brave and the Bold, now we're pushing Batman. It's not a rocket science to put those two together and look at the situation here and see that maybe Matt Reeves' influence is growing here in the Gunniverse, and they're going to bring Robert Pattinson into James Gunn's DC universe to be the Batman. The question is, though, I mean, these are two contrasting trends. Is this a situation where Reeves has a certain amount of control, Reeves has a certain amount of possession in this whole situation, or is this something more where, he's just going to have to sit back and let Gunn do his thing?
Oh, I've got texts coming in. The texts are coming in fast and furious. I have to decipher how to parse this shit out. Because I fucked it up last time with Jack Quaid, didn't I?
Oh yeah, you did. Oh, so what are you hearing something?
I got to read these. I mean, I'm
okay.
Going on here, but I mean, I'm told Muschetti's not off.
Okay,
is what I'm told.
Okay,
they just haven't heard a pitch that they like from writers, so the movie's on the back burner for a little. But he's still on it.
Okay.
I think what's obvious about this is that James Gunn does not have a slate that is set in stone.
Yeah, right. Yes.
I mean, literally everything that he said at that press day, tear it up. It meant nothing. It meant absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Like Feige came out and at least pretty for the most part called the shot, and the movies that he announced he made. Obviously, there's been plenty of movies that have fallen by the wayside since, but I don't know. It's just not a great look.
Okay.
That's what I think from the larger thing with Pattinson and Batman.
Yeah.
I think he wants to be the DCU's Batman.
You think he does want to?
Yes, and I think Gunn wants him. I think Gunn wants him as the DCU's Batman. I think that it's Reeves who is resisting that idea.
Can he do that?
I think. I mean, can he? I think that he has control, like you said, over the Batman stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think that is sort of what's being worked out here. The Clayface movie is what's throwing me, right? Clayface seems like an entry point.
Yeah.
It seems like the connective tissue, like the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to bring it into the DCU.
Okay.
Sorry, take this for a second, Johnny. Okay.
Okay. You sure? Okay. Well,
yeah, I'm good.
James Gunn's response to this was, sure, yes, it is true. The only reason for the delay is there isn't a full script. Those of you who follow me here probably know that already. Matt is committed to making the best film he possibly can, and no one can accurately guess exactly how long a script will take to write. Once there is a finished script, there is around 2 years of pre-production, shooting, and post-production on big films. This is filmmaking 101. We don't need to be talked down to like we are new students at the elementary school of filmmaking. We know how long it takes to make these movies. Why do you keep announcing release dates if you don't have a fucking finished script? It doesn't make sense. So you keep claiming that we don't do anything without a finished script. And here you are constantly, 3 times now there have been release dates for this movie. And who knows if this one's going to stick. And it's all about, well, it's not a finished script. This is a cop-out response, in my opinion. I feel like they're not telling the full truth about what's going on behind the scenes here, and they're making.
Why do they owe us the truth?
Oh, they don't. I'm just saying they're not telling us the truth.
The truth isn't for public consumption, right? Which is why anyone with a modicum of discretion, including myself, hasn't said anything. I mean, other than to say, hey, get off the fucking guy's back.
Mm-hmm. Well, then don't say stuff like the script isn't finished if that's not true.
But it's not finished.
How do you know that? How do we know anything is true?
Why would Gunn lie about that?
Because it provides cover. It gives you more time.
Cover for what? A behind-the-scenes problem? There's not. That's not what I think it is.
Well, you just said you don't want to say what's going on. You just said that I'm practicing discretion about what's really going on.
So I'm not going to say.
Why you do know what's going on behind the scenes.
And I'm telling you what it is and what it's not.
Okay.
Right? What it's not, and it has nothing to do with some behind-the-scenes creative drama. It's the script isn't done.
Why are they announcing release dates if the script isn't done?
You'll have to ask James Gunn then. I mean, that's a Warner Brothers distribution thing, right?
I will never get a chance to ask James Gunn.
I agree with that. You shouldn't announce, but that's why they pushed it a full year, because I was actually surprised when I saw the announcement.
Yeah.
It said moving into 2027. I thought it was going to move it to March.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The fact that they went a whole year.
Right. Means the script isn't finished.
Well, that means and I think the reason the
script is finished, but we just need more time to, do pre-pro or casting. We need to wait for Robert to be available, whatever it was. Then I can see a 6-month push. But if it's a year push, then maybe it really is that the script isn't fucking done.
I think they want to give themselves as much time as possible to work Robert into the film. I think they want to go back, maybe even look at a page 1 rewrite of this whole film and figure out how they're going to work Robert into becoming a part of the larger DC universe. Are you going to bring in Superman? Are you going to bring in characters or Supergirl? Are you going to bring in anybody, the Authority or Green Lantern or Hawker or any of these people who are going to be seen in Superman? Are we going to bring them into the Batman Part 2? So in essence, announcing that the Batman is part of the Gunn DC universe. If you're going to do that, you've got to rewrite the script completely.
Why can't Pattinson be part of the DCU before Batman 2 comes out?
How would he do that? Is he going to appear in Supergirl? Is he going to appear in Superman?
No, what about Clayface?
You think they're going to announce Batman being part of the DC universe with a mid-tier villain character film? Are you insane?
I just don't understand. If he's needed in the movie, he's needed in the movie.
That's like me announcing Tom Brady through a Marshall Faulk movie. That makes no fucking sense. That makes no fucking sense.
What do you mean announcing him that he's in the universe? To the average person, no one is thinking about universes.
Yeah, okay.
I've told them this and they acknowledge it. It's nonsense.
But the average person isn't going to these films 10 times. The fans are. That's the reason these films make as much money as they do.
The movies do not work because of the fans. The fans.
Oh, come on.
They already sold those tickets. It doesn't matter what they do.
But the reason they make millions is because fans come back and see it multiple times.
Go to regular people.
Not Joe Schmo in Michigan. He's not going to see it 7 times.
Movies are only giant hits when you get Top Gun Maverick only gets to 1.5 billion and Barbie only gets to 1.3 billion when they appeal to the average person and not fucking people watching movie shows.
Right. But people go and see it multiple times. And look, multiple people are watching movie shows. Jeff, look at the numbers for all these YouTube shows all over the internet. They're in the millions, hundreds of thousands. That tells you there's a lot of people who are watching these things globally and go see these films multiple times.
All I can say is, as someone who, I've seen this literally 1,000 times. I don't know how many more times I need to see it. When you make a movie for the fans, that's who shows up.
Yes. My point is, but you're not getting my point.
You can't make a movie for the fans if you want to make $1 billion.
You're 100% right. But the reason you get to $1 billion is because you get those fans or those regular moviegoers, but then you get the fans who come and see the movie 10 times.
Arguing about at this point. What are we even talking about?
Well, I'm just trying to say that like there's introducing Robert Pattinson through Clayface makes no sense as the Batman of the Gunverse. You've got to introduce him in a bigger title. You got to introduce him in Superman.
What are the other movies?
Or Supergirl. Or you're rewriting the Batman Part 2 so that you can bring in these other characters from the Gunverse to be part of the overall story.
Then maybe that's what they're doing. All I was doing was throwing out a possibility, because since we're talking about Clayface, right, being part of the DCU, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a Batman property.
Say that again?
If Clayface is a Batman property and that's part of the DCU, then who is the Batman who exists in the world of Clayface?
I don't know.
I'm saying, what if it's Robert Pattinson?
And I'm telling you, that makes no sense to introduce Batman in a Clayface film. That makes no sense.
Who says you have to introduce him? Why can't he just be the one? I don't understand the introduction. It doesn't need to. You don't need to roll out the red carpet for Batman. I don't understand.
God, it's fucking Batman, dude. Of course you got to roll out the red carpet for Batman. You're not. He's not a mid-tier hero. He is arguably your top hero. If you're going to announce that Pattinson is your Batman, you don't do it in a Clayface movie. You do it in a Superman movie. Or
there's a lot of you do this, you do that. I'll tell you what you don't do. You don't wait 5 fucking years after the Batman to make the fucking sequel.
Well, that's a fair point. That's absolutely correct. I agree with you on that one.
You're totally overthinking it. And you know why, John?
Why am I? Who's overthinking?
You are. You're overthinking this whole thing.
What you people think is overthinking is me regular thinking. That's the thing. I don't operate at y'all's levels, man. I'm thinking 45 different things at once. That's standard for Rocha, and those of you who know me know it's true. Go ahead. Yes.
No. I mean, what else is there to talk about this? The fucking movie got delayed a year. Just like I said, there's no way it's fucking coming out then.
Right.
What was more interesting to me is the fact that the shoot suddenly went from May to late summer.
Yeah. So what does that tell you overall?
That the script isn't ready.
And why isn't the script ready, do you think?
Oh my God. Do I know how many? It's like talking to a wall, guys.
I'm asking you, do you have an idea?
I know, and I cannot. I'm not going to say. Do you not understand?
Okay. All right. So you know. So when you tell us that you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, you do know
personal shit. It's personal.
Right. Okay, fair. So you know what's going on behind the scenes. You think that's the reason the script isn't ready. That's what you think.
I don't think it. I know it.
Right. Well, I'm telling you that I think it's because they want to move Pattinson into that, or they want to move the Gunverse into the Batman Part 2, and that's why they're delaying this thing. They're redoing elements of the script in order to make that happen. That's my opinion.
Either way, the script isn't done.
Yes. Right. Yes. That's why I'm saying what James said in the tweet provides cover for whatever reason there may be for the script not being done.
No question. I'm doing it. We're all covering. Yes.
You're covering. I am not covering. You're covering. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So, but what do you feel about the Muschietti thing then? Let's move on to that. You said that from what you hear or for people texting you, that Muschietti is still going to be part of the DC universe and still going to maybe do the Brave and the Bold, or is he going to wait on that?
Again, I don't think the Brave and the Bold, like you said, is a priority at all.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever was.
Oh, you don't think it ever was? Wow.
I mean, like you said, that's why you heard it wasn't going to do it, because it was never going to happen. Well, because it makes no sense to have multiple fucking Batmans running around the fucking DCU. That's why.
I don't disagree with you there. But but this was supposed to be. But this was supposed to be where Gunn was going to introduce his Batman. Reeves would have his Batman.
And everything has changed because, like I said, everything Gunn said back in the day is fucking up for debate. I mean, this is why you guys are like, everyone's so rigid. Well, James Gunn said this and James Gunn said that.
Yeah.
Well, James Gunn is allowed to change his fucking mind.
Wait, you took James Gunn to task for changing his fucking mind last week with that Adam B. Very situation. Now you can't all of a sudden be riding his dick and now be like, oh, he's not allowed to change his mind.
Normal human behavior. I'm wishing that the media didn't fucking think that James Gunn, everything he wrote was etched in stone.
I agree with that. Yeah. Not just the media, the fans too.
If James Gunn said less, that's why I took him to task, because if James Gunn said less, then we don't spend half this fucking show talking about, well, James Gunn said this and James Gunn said that. James Gunn should just shut the fuck up, then let us all talk out of our asses, and then he'll fucking put up action speaks louder than words. Dating the movie a year later speaks louder than any fucking defense he could put up.
I agree.
I just smoked a joint beforehand, guys.
Oh, This is him calm. Well, I mean, look, the reason people get a little too possessive of Gunn, and James Gunn is Kevin Feige for the DC universe, which means he's going to get a lot of the credit, but he's also getting a lot of the blame. And some of y'all need to calm down with your defenses and stop treating him like he's porcelain. He is not a god. He is a human being, and he's allowed to make mistakes. He's allowed to be hypocritical. He's allowed to say one thing and then 6 months later change his mind. And we are also allowed to call him out on it. That's how it works. And some of you in the cult of Gunn need to calm down and let us all talk about it. Because in the end, Gunn shuts everybody up when he puts out content that people love. And look, Guardians of the Galaxy had a lot of negative things going on behind the scenes. And then Guardians of the Galaxy came out and it was a hit. So, and Creature Commandos just got the piece. Yeah, go ahead.
You don't understand what my job is, okay?
I don't know what your job is?
Not you. I'm saying the people out there.
Okay.
Right? Like, I watched that Superman trailer.
Yes.
I liked it. You and I did a podcast, right? After that same day, right?
Yeah.
We talked about it. Then I went to dinner.
Okay.
I went to dinner with a source. The source had knew multiple people who had seen Superman.
Oh, are we moving on to this? Okay.
Yes. I mean, it's incorporated.
We're staying in DC. We're moving on now to the Superman story. I want to do this as a time code, so I want to make sure where we're going. Okay, go ahead.
Get the fucking time code and fucking get the clapboard out. We'll get it all synced up for you.
You're the one that has to go through a 2-hour show and figure out time code.
Listen, hey, I bow down to you as the producer.
Damn right. Go ahead. Keep going.
The buzz was not good. I'm sorry. It's not me trying to take the movie down. Yeah. Maybe I misphrased the VFX thing. I'm hearing bad things. I'm hearing worried. You should be worried things.
Okay.
Now, a lot of time between now and July 11th. This is
sure.
A lot of things could happen. Sounds like James Gunn is aware of some of the feedback. Sounds like THR is aware of some of the feedback. Or they're just keeping that amazing buzz that the studio would love to have out there in the Fortress of Solitude. Read between the lines, people.
Let's give a little background real quick. So a THR piece on the 6th of December confirmed that an internal screening of James Gunn's Superman had recently occurred at Warner Brothers. Here's the quote from the article. We've heard from multiple sources about one screening in particular on the lot, and with Gunn's close-knit crew of people he trusts, we're keeping the buzz about the media itself and our own Fortress of Solitude. Nick. Nerd
that's what
humor.
The studio would want you to do if it was great buzz.
Right. A studio that's controlling what you can put out. Ridiculous. But we can tell you that the movie will be doing a few days of additional shooting in Los Angeles, the near term. THR claims to have spoken to multiple folks who had seen the film but refused to divulge anything about its quality. Snyder said he heard from a rock-solid source, and I say that to quote his, not to make fun of him, but to quote his, that Superman is kind of a mess and that Warner's is nervous and that you heard a lot more about Superman James Gunn in DC. So there we go. I just want to give a little background. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like if I were to say, hey, this is the source and this is their track record and this is, whatever, and 95% of that stuff was right. Are you guys going to suddenly believe this? Or it's not what you want to believe? Isn't it just what everybody believes that they want to believe? Like my whole thing as a reporter, just like you people live in your own worlds and own delusions, which is why we live in a country that's completely divided because no one shares the same reality. No one can agree on what a fact is anymore.
Yeah. And
you people are trying to come at me, telling me how good Superman is. Have you seen it? No, you haven't. Have you talked to anyone who's seen it? No, you haven't. Do you know anyone who may have even had the possibility to see it? No, you don't. You're just some fucking person on the internet who goes by what James Gunn tells him to do. So I don't really put a lot of stock in that. I put a lot of stock in the person I went to dinner with and who they know, because I know who they are and who they know and why they would know them. And they would have no reason to lie. So, sorry, that's what the buzz is. The buzz is what it is. I can't change it. Sometimes it's great buzz. I hear great things about weapons. Sometimes it's bad buzz.
Yeah.
And that goes for fucking Spider-Verse, which you tell me, Jeff Sneider, the liar. Jeff Sneider, just subscribe to my newsletter because I'm trying to bilk all you guys. Well, actions speak louder than words. You guys tell me. Do you think that everything's good on Beyond the Spider-Verse? Or has every other fucking scooper months later come around to the idea that Chris Miller maybe was just doing what he had to do as a producer?
Yeah. So just to add on to Jeff's thing, from the source who I've had now for the last few months, over a year, I think almost, this is what they sent me. Someone who's seen Superman told me it has the tone of the first Captain America movie and the Mummy films. They said Holt is
oh, that's bad.
They said Nicholas Holt is the standout and the film was decent, but a large chunk of the film was unfinished with only a third of the film's VFX being done. Least amount of humor of any Gunn film, but there's still humor throughout the film. And he also said, sounds like Jeff was right about Supergirl being in a similar scene to what he described. The source, his person he spoke to, said they think most people will be satisfied with the movie and it should be received well enough to continue Gunn's DCU.
Dude,
so
every movie is like this. Every movie. It doesn't mean I'm going to not say it.
Yeah.
Because it is, right? Well, if every movie's like this, then why even note it, Jeff? Why just let it be? Well, that's not what's going on. Okay? Every fucking thing behind it. Star Wars is a mess. Fucking Fast and Furious is a mess. What the fuck is going on with Fast and Furious? Everything's a fucking mess until it isn't. And that, my friends, is the magic of showbiz. Okay? It's go watch Saturday Night, right? Yeah. It's about the chaos in the 90 minutes leading up to it, and then boom, the lights go on, and suddenly people like John Rocha become someone else. And it's our gift. Right? That is the gift that they give us. But don't try to tell me that everything is going according to plan and everything's going on the right timetable with Beyond the Spider-Verse and all this shit. You missed how many dates? Because things are a mess, because you're tearing things up, scripts, animation, whatever the fuck it is. And I don't give a shit if I say it the wrong way. If you want it said the right way, Chris Miller, give me your fucking cell phone number. And next time when I hear the animation cells are off, you can tell me it's actually the fucking X, Y, and Z. And it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, the bottom line is the same.
Yeah. People saying there's apparently a new James Gunn reply, so I'm gonna look it up and see if there is a new reply or not from
me.
From James. No, I don't know. I don't know if there's a new reply. Someone said there's a new.
Can James Gunn enjoy a holiday with his family?
No, you wanted this job. This is what comes with it. You don't get to sit around.
No studio head operates like this. It's wild.
I know. This is why Feige doesn't go on the social media. He does not do any of this stuff in order to respond to this kind of thing. So if someone wants to send me the link to the new response from James Gunn or quote tweet it, put it in the chat and I will read it.
I got a DM here. I'm not going to say who it's from. It's from someone with editing prowess who would know people in the editing world.
Okay.
P.S. Your Superman reports are spot on. There's plenty of reason to be nervous.
Ooh.
I'm so fucking sick of the doubters. Like, what do you think I have to get out of lying?
Yeah.
I'm sure the movie's going to be good. I can't wait to see it. I'm sure I won't be invited to see it after all this, but I'm just doing my fucking job. And if you don't like it, tough shit.
I think they should invite you. And I think James should sit down with a one-on-one with you. Because
the idea that I made up a bad report about Superman. I would have loved to have gone to that dinner and heard how great Superman is. Okay. That's not what was said.
Right. You would have.
Yeah. And the idea that I did that because I wasn't invited to see a trailer a few days before it hit online is fucking hilarious, because if you knew anything about me, you knew I wouldn't give a fuck about that. I fought my way into the last DC event because it was a Q&A sit down about Gunn and his entire slate. The idea that I would give a fuck about a marketing event for Superman is hilarious. But I'm sure Matt Ramos or whoever can enjoy his like, how embarrassed must you have been to be Nick Holt and having to do that video with that kid?
Yeah. What you have to wonder about is like, how many people are in this business to actually talk about what's going on in this business, and how many people are in this business to take pictures with celebrities to
I get it.
Push their social media, to push their own footprint, to borrow the fame of others in order to become famous themselves. I've always abhorred that. I've always hated that crap. I've only ever taken pictures with a few people because they're actually people I've followed for years and what have you. Pedro Pascal, Denzel, and Sylvester Stallone. I mean, that's a different situation. But if you're constantly doing, I mean, it just to me gets a little too like, well, where's the line? How honest do I think you're being if you show up at all of these events and you're constantly taking pictures of yourselves with these people?
I'm not even blaming the journalists. I mean, you know, they get offered photos with the cast of Superman. Well, you know, how do you say no to that? Of course you take it. But I'm more like pretty shameless of Gunn and DC to have to stoop to that. Like, we need to have the influencer event, and we're not just going to take photos with these people. Yeah. We're doing like these like elaborate videos where like the four of us all step in together, and we're just so delighted. It's just wild.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what you have to do when everyone's nervous about your movie.
That might be, you know, the reason why they did all that. And they look, because they're essentially borrowing these people with their followers, you know, that maybe have a million subscribers to their channel. So like they hype up the movie, they hype up the attention, they hype up the effect. I don't know if these people are paid to show up and be a part of these, or is the event the payment itself that you get to hang out with these stars and take pictures with the stars of the movie and the director. You know, I don't know.
All I'm doing, I'm just a guy who's in a position to have dinner with people in this business.
Yeah.
And I pass along what I hear. So if you want good things passed along, send me to dinner with Mike DeLuca. And Mike DeLuca can tell me how great Superman is. Love Mike, by the way.
Yeah, Mike's great. Okay. I just, you know, this is where it comes down to, and you have these questions. So yeah, so we'll see. I mean, this doesn't bode well for the James Gunn live action side of things. I think the animated Creature Commando is a lot of fun. I'm loving Creature Commando, but we haven't seen one live action thing beyond the trailer. And we got to wait and see what happens.
Why does it not bode well? Why does that bode at all? I mean, again, did you read the follow-up, right, with the Star Wars? You of all people should know. If I was reporting, again, guys, I thought this was great, and this was Jamie's idea. I'm gonna give him credit.
Okay.
If I was a reporter in 1976, Christmas, I would have heard about a screening of a space opera on the Fox lot, and the screening had been disastrous.
Yeah.
The movie had been super expensive. George Lucas was in such trouble, he needed to bring his wife in to cut the movie. He showed it to all his friends, and only one of them liked it, and one of them had nothing good to say about it at all. That friend was Brian De Palma, right?
Right.
So that movie turned out to be Star Wars. So let's all fucking take a step back and relax. Okay? That would have been the buzz then. But we got Star Wars. So maybe Superman will be our Star Wars. But you know what? The buzz is what it is for now.
For every one of those films you can cite, there's about 30 others that you can cite that actually came out were terrible. So, yes, great Star Wars. Yes, we remember Wonder Woman had negative buzz because a colleague of ours had heard something and it became a big deal. And then it came out, it was a good film. But there are plenty of other ones. Bonfire of the Vanities, the Blade Trinity. Like there's plenty of ones, Batman Forever, where there's drama behind the scenes, or Batman and Robin, and then the film comes out and it's terrible. So yes, I think you should be nervous. I think you have every right to be cautiously or trepidatiously cautious. I think you have a right.
What do they call every good movie, John? A miracle.
A team effort.
A miracle.
Well, yes, that too.
Okay. Every good movie is a miracle.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess. Maybe.
Guardians of the Galaxy also had bad buzz. Barbie had bad buzz.
Green Lantern had bad buzz.
Sometimes the buzz is true and sometimes it's not. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know.
Don't worry, darling. How did that work out? You know, so.
But my buzz meter is different than others.
Okay.
Yeah, because everyone else's meter for everything is broken.
Right. Fair point. People say
I'm the only one whose instruments work, the tuning fork.
I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that.
Go with it.
It'll keep you off social media for a bit. All right. Well, we're at 35 minutes. We got 800 people watching us right now, so we should take a break, Jeff. And on the other side, actually, we don't need to take breaks. It's up to you, Jeff, because we don't do breaks anymore. We don't need it for the podcast anymore. You want to keep going, or do you need to take a breath?
I don't need to take.
All right. Let's move on to the next thing. Spider-Man 4 drama here, Jeff. Sources close to the. Oh, do you want to take something a little? Oh, you know what? Let's move on to something. Let's do it with Christopher Nolan. Let's deal with that. Let's calm down a little bit. Let's deal with this. Christopher, Universal Pictures unveiled before the holidays on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, that Nolan will be bringing Homer's The Odyssey to the big screen. The Odyssey tells the 10-year journey of Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, last seen played by Armando Assante in a great TV movie version, as he travels home after the Trojan War. Along the way, he encounters multiple perils and discovers the death of his crewmates, Telemachus, Odysseus' son, Penelope, Odysseus' wife, Athena, Circe, Poseidon, and Zeus are all major characters in this book. This came out sometime between 750 and 650 BC. I'm sure, Jeff, there was a Sneider back then criticizing Odyssey and saying there was trouble. It is one of the most studied and adapted parodied stories. Of course, recently we saw with Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Brother? Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, Robert Pattinson, and Charlize Theron are all part of this, and it's being shot in a new IMAX technology, which is apparently going to make it the most expensive Christopher Nolan film ever. And he's going to be working with Emma Thomas, who they just won the Oscar for Oppenheimer for. So, and this is supposed to release July 17th of 2026. So you heard this news. So what are your thoughts on this news before I ask you the second question?
First of all, new IMAX film technology. It's going to allow you to hear the movie. Revolutionary. I didn't see it coming.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, not even. Good job, Team Nolan, keeping that under wraps. And kudos to them and Universal for getting ahead of it, because that could have just gone. You'd have 18 million different guesses and people saying, "I hear this, I hear that." Way to just get out in front of it and announce it. An interesting choice, a choice that only the director, an Oscar-winning director who just made a nearly $1 billion movie, can get away with.
Yeah. Because who's clamoring for a new Odyssey film?
Zero people.
Yeah, right.
Zero people. But
yeah,
people will go see whatever Nolan makes, particularly with this kind of cast. And I can see how it lends itself to the kind of big screen epic that Nolan is known for making.
Okay. So 3 things. The new IMAX camera that has been unveiled through a post shared on Reddit will be 30% quieter than the old IMAX camera, which is ideal for capturing dialogue and enhancing the sound mix, as Jeff was making a joke about. It will also sport upgrades, including a lightweight carbon fiber body and an LCD viewfinder for improved operation. And, quote, it will also have modern connectivity options like USB-C, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. So this is I'm sure it's like $5 million camera to use, but this is an interesting situation when you see that he is almost walking in the paths of James Cameron, right? He's kind of elevated himself to walk in the path of James Cameron, who was always about what's the biggest technology. And before Cameron, it was Lucas. What's your technology to show my film at its best? And Nolan is known for going to the ArcLight back when it was open, to sit in that IMAX theater to make sure that, the theater they have there, to make sure that the sound and the video was perfect, So this makes all the sense in the world. The question becomes, who is going to play Odysseus? Is it Matt Damon? Is it Tom Holland? Are you going to buy a young Tom Holland as Odysseus? This is a massive role. George Clooney essentially played him in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? That's an older man. Armando Assante played him in that great TV movie on NBC from years ago. That's an older man. So are we going Matt Damon as the lead and Tom as his brother? What's the situation? What's your guesses for this?
I think it's Damon.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be Tom Holland.
Yeah.
So in that case, who's the wife that he's trying to get back to? Hathaway?
Could be Lupita. Oh, no, Hathaway. It's probably Hathaway. You're right. It's probably Hathaway. Yes. Yeah. And Tom could be his son. Good call, guys. Yeah, absolutely.
Although I had heard that like Lupita and Zendaya's roles are going to be smaller. So.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know who's playing who.
Right.
But yes, I've heard it's going to be the most expensive Nolan movie, and that was before. So okay, some context to that.
Okay, bring it up.
That was before I knew it was the Odyssey.
Okay.
So it was when everybody was guessing what it was. When it
Yeah.
was when someone told me, "Hey, it's going to be his most expensive movie," and then I was like, "Oh shit!" And then a couple days later, it was announced as the Odyssey, which has sea monsters and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And you can see how it would be over 250, particularly with the IMAX and like that cast. But you know what? He's earned it, and the cast justifies that kind of investment.
Yeah.
And it's a title that's recognizable around the world.
Sure. Well, you would think so. I don't know if you're on the internet this week, Jeff, but there was big discourse where the pro Odyssey people got mad at the what the fuck is the Odyssey people, and there was a whole battle on social media about intellectually shaming others who had not read the Odyssey and knew nothing about the Odyssey and were not taught the Odyssey in high school or college.
No one knows the Odyssey. Even the people who are pretending to know the Odyssey don't know the Odyssey. Trust me.
I know the Odyssey.
You read the Odyssey? You read the Iliad?
Of course. That's you had to do that when I grew up, because I'm of that age where we had to read that stuff in high school and college. I don't think nowadays they make you read it.
Before the internet was invented, when Rocha had to do those papers.
Books were on paper.
I had Pink Monkey, I believe it was called.
Pink Monkey?
Does anybody in the comments remember Pink Monkey? It was like Cliff's Notes, but it was online. And
yes.
It definitely got me through those fucking books. I didn't know the way I read those books. I didn't read the classics.
Yeah. Some of you all
writing major at NYU. I didn't read the classics.
Some of you all crack me up, man.
I faked my way through
it. Well, look, I like this idea. I like him being the guy to direct this. I think it's going to be incredible. And like I said, he is walking now in Cameron's footsteps. Cameron is getting old in the tooth. And we need another visionary filmmaker who is going to step in and push the boundaries.
Jamie reminds me, Rocha, that apparently Brad Pitt begged Christopher Nolan to direct Troy.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was hot off of Insomnia at the time.
So funny. I just saw the last hour of Troy the other night with Brad Pitt and a very, very young Rose Byrne. I don't think it's a great movie, but I enjoy him in the movie. And so I can see how Christopher Nolan would have knocked that out of the park versus what Wolfgang Peterson did. No offense to Wolfgang Peterson. So the late great, shall I say. But right, he passed on, right? I think he passed on. So I love this idea. I think it's great. And does this mean Damon gets himself a Best Actor Oscar? Possibly. Does he become essentially kind of like a kingmaker? Because I mean, Damon's kind of moved past that phase a little bit when he was getting eyed for all kinds of stuff. He wasn't even the lead of Oppenheimer. So is this a way of maybe bringing Damon back to prominence here with this? I mean, people know him.
Damon's pretty prominent. I don't think he necessarily needs Christopher Nolan's help in that regard. But scoring the lead in a Nolan movie is always a good thing. I do think a nomination is likely in the cards. I don't know if this is the kind of material that would bring him a win. And of course, it always depends on the competition.
Right. So I'm going to read you the Matt Damon films: Instigators, If, Drive Away Dolls, Air, Thor, Love and Thunder, The Last Duel, Stillwater, No Sudden Move, Jane Silent Bob Reboot, Ford vs. Ferrari. So that was that. Ford vs. Ferrari. He's fantastic in that. Stillwater, I think, is a criminally underappreciated film with a great performance from him. He's damn good in The Last Duel. Incredible in Air. But there hasn't been that huge buzz for him in quite some time. So I think he's gotten the intellectual critics buzz, but he hasn't gotten the popular mainstream huge buzz in a bit. So I think this could be a great thing for Matt Damon and get him that Oscar, which would be great to see, to be honest with you. All right. So that's anything more you want to say on this? Anything more you're guessing on this, or anybody else we're going to get announced? I mean, Charlize is probably Athena. What's that?
I don't know. Michael Caine? Gary Oldman?
Oh, Gary Oldman would be great.
Okay. Here's a little bit of dirt. This was I don't think I have this out there.
Okay.
This is true though.
Okay.
It was going to be Austin Butler instead of Pattinson, but because they weren't sure that Pattinson's schedule was going to be able to work.
Well, now that they delayed the Batman, he's
Right.
available.
Right, exactly. And so basically, I'm just saying Butler was Pattinson's backup.
Wow. He is really becoming the go-to guy for a lot of this stuff, isn't he? Hey, respect, man. Respect. All right, let's move on to another director here, man. Currently enjoying a pretty good result at the box office with his Nosferatu, but Robert Eggers is apparently going to be directing a version of Labyrinth. People are saying it is not a reboot or a remake. It is, and not even sure if it's a sequel, but he's doing Labyrinth. Remember, in May of 2020, Scott Derrickson had been hired to direct a sequel to Labyrinth, penned by Maggie Levin, that didn't end up happening. And you're the one who broke this. You're hearing that none of the Robert Eggers closed the deal to co-write the script and direct the dark fantasy film, which would have him pairing with writer Sean, who collaborated with Eggers on The Northman. So what are your thoughts on this, man? Is a Labyrinth film really something people are clamoring for? Does David Bowie's reach still happen here? What's the deal?
Fucking story hit like a bomb last night. I think so. I think people are still pretty interested in Labyrinth. I mean, it's a beloved film from my childhood, I would say. Yeah. Much more so than like Never-Ending Story, Flight of the Navigator. I was never a big fantasy guy, but I always liked Labyrinth. And I know adults who are still kind of obsessed with Labyrinth.
Yeah, no, totally. People love that film.
That's a cult following. I think with the right director, and I think Eggers is an interesting choice. Like, I wasn't a fan of Nosferatu. He's 1 for 4 in my book, which has me a little nervous about this, but I can see how his sensibility is the right fit for it. What do you think?
I love it. I love it because I've never seen the original. One of these ones that I've skipped. Yeah. It's just a little too fantasy for me. And it wasn't just something I was into at that time, right? I went to see Legend instead, the Tom Cruise Ridley Scott one, rather than Labyrinth. So I like the idea of him coming in and messing with this world a little bit. I know the Goblin King and that cod piece is a huge talking point. I know this is a young Jennifer Connelly right at the beginning of her career. I know there are a few songs that people really enjoyed, a little Dark Crystal connection. So great. Let's have Eggers do his magic in this forum, because I, for one, have liked every film he's ever put out, Robert, that I've seen. I haven't seen The Witch yet. So, but I love The Northman. That's a great revenge film.
I like The Northman a lot.
Nosferatu, I love. It's in my top 3 of 2024. Brady Corbett just came out and said it's his favorite film of the year, and that man directed The Brutalist.
Sean Baker did. I thought so.
Oh, sorry, Sean Baker did, who did Honora. Sorry about that.
Are they both saying it?
No. Sean Baker. Sorry about that. So he directed Honora. So, you know, there's a lot. I enjoy that, his films. And I love The Lighthouse. I thought that was awesome. That was like a black box theater show that they got right, you know? And so I really enjoy his ideas and his point of view and his, and the auteur that he is as a filmmaker. So I'm curious to see how he's going to update Labyrinth and how much darker he's going to go with it, while also retaining some of the humor and tongue-in-cheekness of that particular film. So I am looking forward to it. I love this idea.
So, to me, I think I find it to be an interesting coincidence. I've been writing about this Labyrinth movie for 10 fucking years.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've been writing about Labyrinth, I think, since I was at Variety.
Wow.
And what I'd heard back in the day was that Alexander Skarsgård was going to be the Goblin King.
Wow.
And he starred in The Northman.
That's still in play.
I think that makes sense.
Right.
I can see why it could be Bill Skarsgård as well. I mean, it could be either Skarsgård, but I mean, I like this for Sony, for TriStar. I think it's an interesting IP to resurrect, even if Eggers. I mean, Nosferatu is looking like a hit,
dude. It's almost at 50 million,
which is why it's like, okay, so that came out on Christmas Day.
Yes.
Could that lead to a little renaissance of horror on Christmas Day? And could Weapons be moving to Christmas Day once they see, you know, what the final haul is with Nosferatu there? I don't know.
Yeah, would be nice. Nosferatu is on track to earn more than 40 million this weekend. followed by Complete Unknown with 25 and Wicked at 20. Mufasa and, of course, Sonic 3 are leading the way. Mufasa's bounced back.
I got a text. I don't know if I should out him, but I don't think he'll mind.
Okay.
I got a text from Mance Man.
Scotty, is he watching the show?
No, I got a text from Mance Man a few days ago.
Oh, okay. What did he say?
I'm going to out him. He said, dude, you're totally right about Nosferatu. So boring. I don't see it there, Johnny, but hey, to each their own.
I far be it from me to put egg on the face of two of the hosts of FYC, but that film is going to get nominated for Best Picture.
I was screaming that it was going to get nominated, but after seeing it, I'm like, there's no chance.
I'm telling you, it is. Especially with this box office, that's going to push it even more into the realm of nominations, I think. Because of the art house nature of the film and the fact that it's resonating this deeply with people, I think it'll make people reconsider the film and put it up there.
Give it a PGA nom for the box office.
How dare you? Scott Mance turned heel.
That's the thing. Mance doing a negative review. I was like, should I out him? But yeah, it's true. Scott Mance does give negative reviews.
Every once in a while, he does. Every once in a while. All right, so we'll see what happens. We'll keep tabs on this one, Jeff. Do you think the casting starts immediately? Do you think they start putting this in production immediately, or do you think it'll be a bit?
I think it'll be a bit.
Okay.
I think he has to write the script. And I don't know what his pitch was to land the job. So like, I'm not sure if it's the same sort of sequel that Derrickson was planning.
Right.
I'm sure Sony and Henson have their own ideas for where to take this, but I don't know if you're them, you and Eggers is willing to do it. You got to give him a shot and let him do a draft.
Have we even seen the girl who will be the lead of this? Or is it some unknown right now who is cast in some show? Like, that's the question I have. Because if it's going to be a Jennifer Connelly correlation, it's got to be someone who's like 15, 16 years old right now. Or less, or 12, who's going to be 15 or 16 when they finally start shooting this.
Is that how old she is?
I mean, she was really young when she did that film.
There's a girl on this John Hamm show that I'm watching now who
Friends and Neighbors or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's a girl on that show, but I don't think she's that young.
Okay.
She reminded me of like Ella Purnell. Like that's who I kind of see, like from Fallout.
Ella would be a great choice at if she was younger, for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't know what the age and everything.
Just so you know, with the top critics, it's at 86% Nosferatu. So thinking it's not going to nominate. Keep thinking it's not going to get nominated. When it does.
Could you name a group of people on the planet that I have less enthusiasm?
You don't care about Peter Travers?
If you said the Boston Celtics think that Nosferatu is fantastic, I'd be like, oh shit, okay. Jay Tatum saying Nosferatu is great, but no, you're saying it's the same fucking people who love everything.
No, the top critics. Peter Travers, he doesn't love everything.
Peter Travers, what an example! James, are you watching this right now? Richard
Roper, David Fear. Come on, Richard Brody. Well, he didn't like it. Richard Brody. Everyone else liked it. I love Peter Travers.
One of my favorite too, but
come on. Peter DeBruge didn't like it. That's a shame. Anyway, we'll see.
DeBruge, my boy.
DeBruge, my boy. All right, let's move on to, speaking of failures at the box office, let's move on to this new interview from Sony Pictures CEO Tony Vinciquerra, who was talking to the LA Times. Jeff, got to get your thoughts on this.
Can these corporate communication executives do their jobs and get these executives under wraps, these CEOs? What are they doing?
So he was asked about what happened with Sony and these Spider-Verse, live-action Spider-Verse films without Spider-Man. And he said Madam Web underperformed in the theaters because the press just crucified it. It was not a bad film, but it did great on Netflix. For some reason, the press decided that they didn't want us making these films out of Kraven and Madam Web, and the critics just destroyed them. These are not terrible films. They were just destroyed by the critics and the press for some reason. And he says, I still don't understand about Kraven because the film is not a bad film. But he did say, I do think we need to rethink our Marvel movies just because it's snake bitten. If we put another one out, it's going to get destroyed no matter how good or bad it is. This man is so off, Jeff. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, no, you go first. So I've done enough ranting. You got it.
This is mind-blowing to me. And look, Vinciquerra, no offense, I don't know you from Adam's son. I know you're 70 years old. I think you're the last person to be talking about whether these films work or not. Respect to your position. but you have no idea what you're talking. And using this playbook that everyone's been using lately, blame the media.
Everyone loves the movie. It's a huge hit on Netflix.
It's such a weak ass small dick cop out that it drives me nuts. Blame the media. These movies are great. It did well on Netflix. You know why? Because it takes no effort to move your fat ass to the remote and hit play. It takes no effort. Dragging your ass out of the house to pay the thing, to sit in a crowded theater, pay the money for the ticket and food. That takes effort. Okay. 50 million people seeing Red One does not mean Red One's a massive hit. It doesn't. I don't care what anybody says. It didn't do well at the box office. These didn't do well at the box office because the people went and word of mouth tore it to pieces. It was not about critics. It was not about this or that. Because, I mean, the thing is, these guys from one side of the mouth, they say, we don't need critics. We don't need critics. And then the other side of the mouth, critics ruin this. Critics ruin the film. What the fuck? Which one is it? So to me, this is nonsense. Utter bullshit.
Critics have zero power. They have no sway. Maybe they can affect the box office $3 to $5 million each weekend. Like, there's no way that the press is putting the kibosh on your movie.
Yeah.
Yes, it looks bad, or it is bad, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even see fucking Kraven, so I don't even know. But
it's terrible.
Yes, this guy is living in an alternate reality where he's like sees these movies in a screen with his executives, and J.C. Chandor and Aaron Taylor Johnson turn their heads when it's over, and they go, "What'd you think, boss?" And then he goes, "Wasn't bad. Wasn't bad." You know what? But like put your money out there, Tony Vinciquerra, when you're making 40, 50, 60 grand a year, okay? 40, 50, because that's a lot of moviegoers, right?
Yeah.
People can barely even afford to go to the movies. You're going to spend money on that trash? No.
Do you think fans of comic book movies are going, what did the critics think about? No, they're going, what did my boy who went to see it think? What did these trailers look like? You put the 8 minutes of the opening film out, and that still didn't get people to go see your film in the theaters. It's not about the press. It's that you've burnt too many people for too long with your shitty output, and they don't trust you anymore.
That can be
how it is.
Yeah, there's certainly a breakdown. I really think, to be honest, just in talking to people, these executives are they're living in a bubble. They have no idea. They've completely lost touch with the common man, or what it's like to go to a real movie theater on a Friday night with people and not have the row roped off for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild.
Yeah, I agree. They should go undercover and actually go, but they don't have time because they're making millions. They give a shit.
No
right?
interest.
Yeah,
because it's people used to be hungry. This business used to be full of young, hungry scrappers. Now the young and the hungry and the scrappy don't come to this business. They go because there's no money in it, because it's a failing business. So they go off to tech and they go to Silicon Valley, they go to Wall Street, and we don't get the best and the brightest anymore. We get the lazy ones, and the people in power just cling to it. It's the same people when I got to this town 20 years ago who were already in business for 20 years before that. There's still the Bruckheimer slot is guaranteed in our summer release calendar. And so producers don't get a chance. Down the line for everybody. And Hollywood is just destroying itself.
I think what you said earlier is 100% accurate. What you said earlier about this situation like this, they're just not there. There's the hunger, and that it's a miracle that a good movie does get made. Exactly what you said earlier. Like, it is because of having to overcome all this stuff, including at the studio, who should be your biggest supporter and the person who's saying like, hey, you got to go back. How many executives do we know that are legendary who told a filmmaker to his or her face, you need to go back and re-edit this shit or reshoot some stuff because this isn't working. This is terrible. You know, we hear about the executives who didn't believe in movies and then it came out and it was a success, of course. But there are just as many stories of executives who went up to filmmakers and said, this is crap, fix it. But we don't have that anymore, or that often. We don't hear the filmmaker or the executive say that kind of stuff. And I think the worst thing that's happened is this audience. You talk about Rotten Tomatoes. The critics side of things, I don't care. I don't think it's a big deal. The fact that these studios have used the audience score as some kind of validation to keep on making crappy films is the frustrating part of the whole nature of Rotten Tomatoes. I hate that. I hate how that we're making films for the regular, for the fans. Get out of here. You got to make good stuff. And they're not always doing that.
Yeah, it's just the whole industry is a mess. Thank you, Mark Butler, in the chat. The name of that actress I was thinking of is Isabel Gravitt. Again, can't talk about your friends and neighbors yet.
Yeah, I haven't watched them.
As a look, that actress has you can just see sometimes, hey, this person's going to book more work.
Yeah,
he has that look.
Nice. It could be the girl from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Couldn't it be her, Butters? I mean, is she possible?
Listen, there's a lot. I think Julia Butters should get every job in Hollywood. So
I agree. I don't disagree with you there. Let's see what else we want to get into here. Do you want to talk about the box office at all? Anything surprising about Nosferatu? Completely no. We touched on it just a few minutes ago, but anything you want to add to it? Mufasa bouncing back, possibly going to win the weekend, which is a surprise. So, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, what's supposed to beat it? Sonic?
Yeah, Sonic 3 was well ahead initially, but Mufasa has bounced back over the Christmas days here and Christmas Eve days and is catching up to Sonic 3.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not that interested. I've never been that interested in box office or the race because I think all these movies need to be judged in a vacuum based on their own budgets.
Okay, all right.
And so no matter how, I don't care if Mufasa wins the weekend. At the end of the day, Sonic's going to be the more successful movie by far because it's a lot cheaper.
Speaking of successful movies, are you a little surprised at how Wicked and Moana 2 seem to have the gas seems to have gone out of the engine a little bit? Wicked just barely crossing 400 million over the weekend. When people thought that was a billion film for sure. And then Moana only at 370, kind of slowing down itself. So do you think this is a matter of Mufasa and Sonic coming in and just kind of quashing that audience? Or do you think this is a situation where they had enough gas to start off, but now they can't seem to finish the race fully, like crossing 500 or even getting to $1 billion?
That was never going to get to $1 billion. 4 days, John. 4 days. You know what happens in 4 days?
What happens in 4 days?
Wicked comes out in VO.
Right.
So it's just that kind of a thing where I think people have been trained, and who trained them, John?
The press,
the studios. Studios train people.
Yes.
To expect these movies in the home 17 to 28 days later.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
It's basically what you're getting here.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to bring it up.
No, it's absolutely worth bringing up. These movies have petered out, and it's because movies aren't allowed to have legs anymore unless you make a concerted effort to keep them in theaters. You know what movie we didn't see on VOD 28 days later?
What's that?
Long Legs.
Oh, interesting.
Which had what at the box office? Long Legs.
By the way, I was talking about domestic numbers, guys, not international numbers. Of course, internationally, it has crossed 800 million. So I just didn't. I'm a little surprised at the domestic numbers slowing down here for Moana 2 and for Wicked. So I just wanted to throw that out there. All right, let's see what else we can discuss here, Jeff. Do you want to say anything about the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively situation? We touched on it here on the show. We certainly had conversations about it. It seems pretty clear that this was a concerted effort by a publicity firm to go after Blake. I think this is a much more nuanced. I think there's much more going on here than people are giving credit to. They just want to grab whatever the narrative is and run with it. I think this is much more complex than people are thinking this is. What are your thoughts?
You think?
Yeah.
It's like you're literally witnessing I don't know that I'll call it a smear campaign because smear campaign implies like, hey, that he didn't deserve this. But like you're watching Team Lively enact its own campaign in real time, talking about how Team Baldoni did a campaign. Like everybody's got publicists. It's kind of been remarkable that I don't think I've heard the names of Blake's publicists in this coverage.
Not at all.
No, not a peep. Like she doesn't have anybody responding to this stuff, and she's just sitting there taking it all. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah. There's more going on here.
What is everything about in town, John?
Power,
yes.
and money.
That is an acceptable answer. And yes, money. Yeah. Money, power, control. Yes. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's what this is about. This is about the sequel rights. This was about a fight for control over the first movie that was won by Blake Lively.
Yeah.
And a control over the sequel rights.
Yeah. I think that's what it was all about at the end. And look, I'm not saying that what she claims didn't happen. I wasn't on that set. I don't know what the truth is. Yeah. So maybe this all happened. I have a hard time believing that a woman with this kind of power married to a man with that kind of power would allow herself to be mistreated in this way with numerous examples, I have a hard time believing that. That being said, it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It doesn't mean that that wasn't the situation, that she gave herself to a first-time director and he took advantage of the situation.
And he may not, as a first-time director, he may not have maybe been on his game. This may speak to him being a lousy director and not knowing how to run a set.
Yeah.
But let's make no mistake, she was the most powerful person on that set. I don't care if he's the director.
Yeah. She's the reason that film was even being made.
Again, what I heard.
Yeah.
I guess it really like what comes down to me, or I guess what I've spent months thinking about is like, I'd heard the coming into the trailer thing, right?
Yes. That was not even mentioned.
No, it was. It was mentioned that they repeatedly entered her trailer.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now I don't know if she had said that they didn't knock, or that she was in the middle of breastfeeding and they didn't turn away.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot. That was where I'd heard the funny business was, but I'd heard that it wasn't, that it was a lot more innocent than it was being made out to be. And that's the thing. It's if he's just, because directors go into the trailer of their leading lady on every set, like everyone's meeting in the stars trailers, right?
They usually don't barge in. They knock on the door. Yeah.
Sure. Well, maybe he did, but she, didn't turn away, or whatever it was, and so he saw something he shouldn't have, and she was like, this is sexual harassment. It's about interpreting things, and is there an ill intention behind it, or is it innocent? And that I don't know, because I wasn't there, but I'd heard from people, and not from fucking Jennifer Abel or Melissa Nathan, the two crisis publicists, but from someone else, a woman too. I'd heard that he really didn't do anything wrong. That's just what I heard. I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong. I'm not saying that Blake Lively is twisting everything. I'm just hearing that maybe certain behaviors were misinterpreted. I don't know. Let me ask you, as an actor, because there's things that he's the director. He's also trying to get into character and play this abusive guy. I haven't seen the movie, but like he's talking to his co-star and fellow producer about his past and his pornography addiction, and maybe how he used to treat women in the past. Mm-hmm. Is that crossing a line? Is that, hey, this is an appropriate workplace thing? Or is it, hey, we're actors, we need to sort of channel and bare our souls. And sometimes that's an overshare, and sometimes it may make you uncomfortable, but it's all in service of the work.
Well, the danger is this, that because it could be in the moment, both of you were like, okay with trading stories about this or that. But later on, as that person thought about it, they became bothered by it.
Right.
What happens is, and what I read from the things that she laid out, this is a messy divorce, and the children are calling Hoover's IP. And in a messy divorce, people make up or say them or misconstrue or fabricate or exaggerate the shit that went down in order to get possession of the children, right? We've seen this in many messy divorces. You read all kinds of things. So to me, that's what it feels like. Yes, Melissa Nathan ran this publicity campaign and whatever. And look, this is a guy who had no power compared to Blake Lively. And so hired these publicists. Yes, they were Johnny Depp's publicists. So maybe they follow that blueprint that they tried to squash Amber Heard with.
That's not a good look. I don't understand. Why do you keep doing this? Why do people hire? Yes, these are crisis publicists. They know what they're doing. But by simply hiring them, you've made me suspicious. And I dealt with this, on a case that I looked into earlier this year about a director from years ago who was canceled, and the woman recanted certain elements of her story. I haven't published this.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it in connection with this story, but they had hired a crisis PR people, and I told them, this makes me immediately suspicious of you, the director. I was like, I'll talk to you, but not with this person here.
Yeah. I think it seems like this went toxic once she realized that he wasn't maybe excited about making the film she wanted to make, which was this pseudo rom-com, happy ending, cheer for women, we can overcome anything type of film. He wanted a much more gritty exploration of what happens between couples in a situation like this, and the more nuanced approach to it. And it seems like both of them came from different places on this thing, and it got more toxic as it went along. You know what it's like. You work with somebody, you think initially you're great, but then as that person's needs aren't met or their desires aren't met, and that you have different desires, then it becomes who's lying to who about what. And when she brings in Ryan, I mean, that's a whole nother ball game. Ryan's no wallflower. So it just seems to me like people need to take a moment and step back. Like I had a friend of mine who issued an apology on TikTok to Blake, and it's like, oh, why did I believe the man? And it's like, how about this? How about we wait till it all comes out before you do a 180? How about we all just wait?
Right, exactly.
It comes out before we make a decision, not go, I was Team Baldoni, now I'm Team Blake. And it's you just got manipulated in a different direction.
And so, I wanted to say, yeah, like someone was saying, they accuse us of taking his side. We're not taking any side. I'm not saying that she's lying.
Oh, yeah, no. Right, of course not. No.
But I do think that there's a lot more to the story. He has not had his say. We do not know. We have not seen the texts from Team Lively and how they were going to respond to all of this. I did not feel like her reputation was like dragged through the mud back then. And by the way, when it says believe all women, again, all I'm going off of is the information that I received back in August.
Right.
And that information came from a woman. So who should I believe? It's a woman telling the man's side of the story. And it's not someone being paid to do it.
Right. And the thing is, when you look at this situation, believe all women wasn't believe everything they say. It was take a moment and give this credibility to look at it and then decide when all the facts come in what the truth is. That's what that point is. Okay. And because some people have lied in the past, certainly a couple weeks ago or a week ago, the woman who accused all those Duke players of raping her recanted everything in an interview. So Patrick Kane, the Chicago Blackhawks guy, that woman said she lied about. So there have been people do lie. Okay. And I'm not in any way going against women who the accusations, you must make the accusations. And we as a society must hear you out. That's our responsibility. And then we must see all the information and make a decision like a judge does, like people do. So believe all women is open your ears and listen to women when they tell you they're being raped and sexually assaulted and chased down the street and inappropriate conversations are happening. 100% believe what they're talking about and then listen to the facts of the story and decide where you stand on it. I think that's the nuanced element of this that people seem to forget when looking at it. It's a complex situation.
It's super complex. Plus, I mean, he got done dirty by his own PR company.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
it was Jonesworks. And what happened was that he notified Jonesworks, hey, I'm going to end working with you by end of August. And then, Steph Jones, allegedly, was the one behind this leak. Right. Because she owns her employees, or I don't even know if she actually owned her employee's phone, but it had her business on it.
She revealed the texts and they're suing her.
Yes. This would have happened, John, that she would have filed this lawsuit or this threat of a lawsuit if there wasn't a sequel hanging in the balance. If it was just like, this is a one and done, we're not going to work together again. That's that. Do you think she would have done it to make the point and say, to protect other women who may have gone on sets with Justin Baldoni going forward? Or do you think she would have just dropped it and said that's that?
Well, I think she absolutely would have dropped it and would have made it very clear to him to never do this again, or I will absolutely out you. I will absolutely out you. If I hear about you doing anything again to another woman on set, I will out you. But I'll let this go for now. The film is a success, and whatever. But
and the fact that I think happened though, right?
Right.
Where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get my fucking cut, or else I'm gonna come forward and say this. And he's like, okay, fine, stand back, you get your cut. Right. And now she's kind of doing it again to get the sequel right.
Well, I also think because she did, and from my source, they said to me like she felt that this had really damaged her reputation in Hollywood. People weren't working with her. I mean, Netflix as a joke just did a roast about 2024, and a female comedian made a joke about her using the C word.
Hannah Berner, I know.
Hannah Berner, right? Exactly. But the evidence people were using was not necessarily from the set. It was from her interviews in the past. It was from her interactions in the past.
Right. It had
come across in the past. So Baldoni had nothing to do with that.
I didn't feel like he was smearing her. Yeah, he needs his movie to work. It's his first movie. Why would he smear the star of his movie? Like
all the PR campaign did was unearth this stuff that had already been out there and put it together, right? So that's what happened there. And so you look at it and go, okay, I think this is just a toxic situation with two people who clearly grew to not like each other, and it's become a he said, she said, and mom and dad battling.
Some awards. It cost him his podcast with Liz Plank. I mean,
right.
It says, she said it cost her stuff, respectively. Like she couldn't host SNL because of it, and she had to pull out of certain things. So you're right. It's fucking messy, and I touched on it in the newsletter, but I didn't want to go too deep on it because it's like this just isn't what the newsletter's about.
Yeah, and again, just to make it clear, everything Blake Lively said might have happened on the set. Okay, and it's very possible that all of that happened. And if everything she lays out really happened the way that her team laid it out, then absolutely Baldoni shouldn't be near another woman for a while, should go to counseling, should go to get his head analyzed for why he would treat someone like this, and should be removed from that franchise completely, from that IP completely.
Apparently it wasn't his first movie, by the way.
Right. Yeah, five feet apart or something like that was his first movie. But still, this was a big movie with a big star. So to me, that's what you got to look at here, right? And I see Chia Pet losing their minds, accusing us of all this kind of thing. No, as I said, it was stuff that we'd heard from sources. So we spoke about it openly. And then now we hear this counter. So we're like, okay, so there's more to the story. Let's see what the response
said. This is why she's doing it, or these are all theories and suppositions based on sources who have come forward. But as far as like the WME stuff, like,
oh yeah, I mean,
I had a pretty high level person slide into my text and be like, I don't think you really need to overthink it. It's Ryan's rep by WME and pays them over $10 million a year in commissions, and if he wants Baldoni gone, then he's gone.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's happened. That's why, because Baldoni ain't bringing in $10 million a year. It's all about money, man. It's all about money for sure.
Yes.
See, and this is the thing. He said, sorry, he hired a firm to ruin her. You don't know that he hired a firm to ruin her rep. He hired a firm to defend himself. What that firm did in defending him may have been too far. And those messages.
The question is for me.
Okay.
And you're wrong, Chia Pet. See, what you're accusing me of not doing here, right? What is the word in this sentence that you're accusing me of not doing? John, do you know the word?
She hired a firm. You don't think these sources you heard from can be tainted by this?
No. The word is think.
Think, right? Yes.
You don't think that I thought about it, Chia Pet, but I have. In fact, I nearly texted the original source from August to be like, hey, between us, are you friends with Jennifer Abel or Melissa Nathan? Did they put you up to it? Or was this just something that you legitimately heard because you're in a position to hear things? So I did actually think about it. So the idea that I don't, I think would make me a pretty shitty reporter, don't you, Chia Pet? If I didn't, I have a natural curiosity about these things, and I do question where they come from, why, when, all that stuff. Yeah. But no, I have come to the conclusion that no, I don't think that my source was working on behalf of any smear campaign. I think she just genuinely heard from somebody on set who had heard what happened.
Yeah. And again, and I want to make this clear because people might clip this out and twist it and whatever. I think you should believe all women. You should listen to what they have to say when they're accusing someone of assault, rape, harassment, whatever it may be. Absolutely listen. That's what you need to do. All right. And then when the information comes in, especially with people we don't know, like celebrities, when information comes in, then you can make up your assessment in your mind, all these things. And absolutely, for everything she said.
Questions, baby.
Yeah, it's one. What we do got to do Spider-Man 4, man, real quick. Well, what do you want to say on this? What's the drama around Spider-Man 4? Daniel RPK saying the script is being significantly rewritten with Marvel boss Kevin Feige leading the way in creative input. The goal is to, quote, elevate the original script, which wasn't to Feige's liking. But I mean, Tom said it was a great script. They just had to make a couple of changes. So
Tom said it was a great script. What are we expecting Tom to say? There could be no script. Tom signing on to Odyssey movies without knowing what the script is.
Listen, he said him and Zendaya were jumping around their bedroom reading this thing. So what are your thoughts on it?
We got to stop listening to Tom Holland. He's next on the list behind James Gunn. Shut the fuck up. Jesus. Okay. Sorry, Tom.
I don't agree with that.
Nice kid, but like.
I like Tom Holland. Yeah. So do you think this is going to push the release date?
Timmy, I'll put it that way.
What do you think about this? Is this going to push the release date?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And do you believe that it is a page one rewrite, essentially?
Yes.
Have you heard anything?
I think that I don't think, from what I heard from my source, I don't think that Sony will release 2 Spider-Man movies in the same year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, there won't be a movie next year.
Right.
So if there is one in 2026, then one of them's got to come in 2027 under that logic.
Right.
So right now, I think the plan was always to have Spider-Man ready in time for 2026.
Yeah.
In which case, Beyond would be 2027. But at this point, because I'd heard Beyond would be ready by 2026, they would just hold it to avoid, Now at this point, maybe Beyond comes out in 2026 and Spider-Man 4 goes 2027.
There you go. That makes sense.
Maybe March 2027 because Batman's in October.
Maybe that's possible.
I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. My boy Calvin says, Rocha's Santas are freaking me out. I'm so high. Yeah, you should not watch the show high with my 2 Santas, my 2 rustic Santas hanging out with you, bro. It's gonna
Those are Santas?
Yeah, man. My rustic Santas. My boy coming in from the cold with his snow globe and sleigh, and my boy coming in here from the top of the hill with his bag.
He looks like Moses.
Yeah, both of them.
Down the hill.
Hey, bringing down the 20 commandments. 10 each. 10 each, Jeff. All right, let's get on to these questions like you want to. We have 33 of these, Jeff, so strap in.
Let's go.
Mr. Bingo says, if I'm James Gunn, I'm letting Andy Muschietti go, not firing him. I'm just letting him go and get a new director and fast track Brave and the Bold so we get a Batman in live action before 2028. Well, that's if you're not bringing in Pattinson, right?
What does this even mean? If I'm James Gunn, I'm letting Andy Muschietti go, not firing him. I'm just letting him go and get a new. What? Letting go, firing? What's the difference? And get a new director.
There's no fucking difference. As someone who's been let go but not fired, there's no fucking difference. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't understand. So we get a Batman film in live action before 2028? You're getting one in 2027. It was just announced today.
Yeah. If he's saying if that's the Batman for the Gunn universe, that's what he's saying. So we'll see. Levi says, have either of you seen The Return with Ray Fiennes? If so, is it worth the watch? Happy New Year's to you both, and thank you for all you do. Thank you, Levi. That's the one with Juliette Binoche reuniting from The English Patient. Have you seen this, Jeff?
Is that the one with the Pope?
No.
I'm fucking with you. No, dude, this is the Odyssey. You know that, right?
The Return?
Yeah. He's playing He's playing Odysseus and she's playing Penelope.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to watch this.
Do you?
I do. Uberto Pasolini. I might have to give this one. I like the Odyssey story. I might have to give this one a watch. No, the answer is no. We haven't watched it, brother. Forging Faith podcast. I like that. Is it time to scrap Reeves as Batman? What's the behind the scenes holdup, Jeff? We need you to do a segment called Reckless Speculation. Jeff doesn't do reckless speculation. I do that. Jeff does not do that.
I do reckless everything else.
Jeff is a journalist.
Yeah, I mean, is it time to? No, I mean, Matt Reeves did a good Batman, and I want to see what his sequel is. I don't really care how long I have to wait for that sequel. What's behind? And I can't tell you the behind the scenes holdup. Thanks for the Rex. I mean, I like Rex Spec. It's not a bad idea for a segment. But
yeah,
I could put on my Rex Specs for it.
That'd be funny. What does Rex Specs think? Ewok says, is Matt Damon going to have long hair for this? Because right now the track record consists of The Great Wall and Loki and the Thor films. Just saying. Don't forget The Last Duel. He had a mullet for that one too.
That's a great question, Ewok. He may go to give me the Supercuts 3 on the side.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Get the faux hawk like me. Jack Sullivan says, big fan from Ireland. Civil War best film snub. Civil War best film snub. Civil War, the
Alex Garland.
Yeah, Alex Garland film. No, I don't think it deserves a best
in my book.
Yeah, no.
It's a missed opportunity, that movie.
I like the movie, but it's not a best picture. Jack Sullivan said, by the way, I finished season 2 of Bad Sisters. Speaking of Ireland, great season. Jack Sullivan says, what month will Liverpool have the title won? After game 38. I'm not even remotely considering us right now. It's only 16 games in the season. Trey Wessel says, no questions. Merry Christmas to you both. Oh, thank you, Trey.
Thank you very much. And a happy Hanukkah to all who celebrate.
That's right. And Kwanzaa as well, I think. Buster Barnes, any chance Muschietti directs Clayface before Brave and the Bold? That might be interesting. That maybe he doesn't do Brave and the Bold, but he does Clayface under James Gunn's supervision.
That would qualify as a smaller movie.
Huh?
That would qualify as a smaller movie, right?
Yeah. And now I could see if he's not going to do Pattinson's Batman, you could introduce the Brave and the Bold Batman in a Clayface movie.
So, dude, this is the whole point. Jan, I don't want to think this Batman, that Batman, the Brave and the Bold Batman, this Batman, that Batman. Just give me fucking Batman.
That's what he wants. Just give him his Batman. Just give him his Batman. Grubby Don't Play says, any upcoming disaster films you can put on my radar? And is Greenland 2 still happening? I'm looking forward to The Last Breath with Woody Harrelson. Yeah, Jeff, any upcoming disaster films? I don't know if there are any.
The only disaster movie I've heard about is Superman.
No, don't.
I'm kidding. Greenland 2 is in the can, I believe.
Okay.
And Last Breath is coming out in February, and that looks good. I mean, I think Woody's a national treasure. I've been over this before. He's the only actor I'll call a national treasure. So
Woody Harrelson?
That's right. I think he's a national treasure. I love him. I've never disliked Woody Harrelson, except maybe in Surfer Dude.
You like him in 2012?
Sure.
Okay, so the disaster film, The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie coming out in February 28th. There you go. That's a disaster film for you. Salahuddin Belghazi. I hope I said that right, brother. Which role do you think Zendaya will play in Nolan's The Odyssey, and do you think it's an interesting one? She could be playing one of the gods, one of the female gods, maybe.
Medusa.
No. That'd be good to see her as Medusa.
Crazy hair? No, can't see that.
Good work. Good work. I don't think she maybe she's playing Athena or Cersei. It's very possible. Or Poseidon if they want to go.
And Hathaway feels like a good Cersei. Or maybe, you know who feels like a good Charlize.
Oh, yeah. She could be the wife, though, Charlize. You never know. Tristan said, with execs, producers leaving Marvel, Nate Moore, Kevin R. Wright, who could be Feige and D'Esposito's successors? Jeff.
Sneider and Rocha.
Oh, my God.
Boom.
No one is in charge.
Boom. You guys are going to be getting Blade movies for the end of time, baby.
Talk about a miracle.
And 10, baby, coming soon.
Some motherfuckers are still trying to ice skate uphill.
I have no idea. I don't know who else like the bench is. And
yeah.
I mean, let's say if Feige, let's say he wanted out.
Okay. Like 8 out of running it.
One out. I want out of Marvel. Who's coming in to replace me? You know who I'd probably look to?
Who?
Stuber.
Oh, that's a nice choice. Okay. That's a nice choice. Tristan says Universal's announcement of Nolan's next film got a lot of attention. Would you say the next big thing after IP is filmmakers themselves? They the new movie stars, Jeff?
It's a good question, Tristan. I don't know.
I would say yes. Judging by Eggers' Nosferatu doing what it's doing, I think once people get to know a filmmaker, they go. Oppenheimer making almost $1 billion. That's a filmmaker. People go. That's right.
No.
Okay.
I still think it's movie stars. I still think it's actors. I just don't. Going off my brothers and dad, I just don't hear them being like, "Oh, this is the new so and so movie." Yeah.
Okay. I disagree, but okay.
No, obviously a different case.
And so is Tarantino, right?
Yes.
Tea Time 480 says, how likely is Pattinson to play the DCU Batman with a creative who isn't Reeves? Yeah, that's a good point. Jeff?
When you say a creative?
Who isn't Reeves?
But could Reeves be a producer on it?
Yeah, maybe. I guess you could say that. Like Nolan was for Man of
Steel. I could see, again, it goes back to the column I wrote a while back. Like, if you're James Gunn, you have an ego, right? Yeah. You want to be the guy who brings Superman back to the big screen. And you want to be, Batman never really left, but like you want to be the guy who puts Batman and Superman in a movie together that is good.
Yeah.
I think that's just what the goal is. And I think he needs Pattinson. That doesn't need Pattinson, but I think that is ultimately what will happen. Now, could Reeves be the producer on that movie? Sure.
Yeah.
I think that's probably in his contract.
Yeah. Maybe that's the way it goes. Dennis Hoffman. What's up, Dennis? Look at that face. Can't join tonight, but thank you both for a consistently great show. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Dennis. Thank you.
Squeezing your cheeks, Dennis. Happy holidays. Shit. Dan the Man. What's up, Dan? It says, happy holidays, folks. Multiple questions time. 1, Pattinson cameo in Superman. 2, is Hollywood at a place where they can accept pitches from multiple non-union directors / writers? 3, Disney / Epic news. Jeff, what do you got? 1, 2, 3.
No to Pattinson cameo.
Agreed.
I don't believe. 3, Disney Epic news. What is Epic? What do you mean? Is that
I don't know. Is there an Epic coming from Disney or something? Maybe.
I have 3 big things.
Ooh.
These are big things, I think. They're all Disney.
Okay, so there is stuff coming from you.
Yeah, but they're not like they're not like so and so has signed a deal to do this.
Right.
Some of it's like so and so passed on this, but isn't it interesting to know this or that or whatever? Yeah, I got some big things brewing, I think, in the new year.
Cool.
Number 2, that's a good question, but I'm going to say no.
Not from multiple. Dennis Hoffman says, JC Shandor in director jail after Kraven?
Yes.
Probably.
Absolutely.
Although no, I think no one who works with Sony should be tainted by that.
Should have been there already, quite frankly.
JC
Shandor, not the biggest fan. I mean, like, I'm just not a big fan.
Okay. I like JC, but all right.
I like A Most Violent Year.
Yeah, that was a good one. Lemmy Ward says, thanks, guys, for your show and for a year of keeping us all engaged. Best show on YouTube by a mile. Thank you. Looking forward to what you have to offer in 2025. Oh, so are we. Thank you, Lemmy. Thank you for the kind donation. Thanks for being a fan. Thanks for supporting us. And thanks for being here every week. We appreciate it madly, brother. Dennis Hoffman also says, Jeff, any buzz on Wolfman? Yeah, we're right around the corner from Wolfman, aren't we? Coming out?
I feel like I heard it was just okay at first, but then I think I heard a second report that said it was pretty effective. All I'd heard was, frankly, that Abbott clashed a little, I think, behind the scenes with Lee, but
it's a shame.
It may have just been the nature of the role, and I don't know if it required him to be in makeup for a long period of time, that kind of thing, you know. Nothing to worry about, nothing to be concerned. Not trying to start any drama. Just let you know what I heard. I think it's good.
I liked him in Poor Things. I did not like him in Kraven. So we'll see. Mike Joyce says, Jeff.
He was in that.
Yeah. Blogspot is so early 2010s. When you going to join the Cool Kids Club on Letterboxd? Here's to a great 2025 for you too.
Thank you, Mike Joyce. I know you're watching that fucking Blogspot like a hawk every time it's updated. Get a little notification. Yeah, it is early 2010s. It's even before that, guys. But you know what? It works for me.
And he's never joining Letterboxd. I'll tell you that right now.
Ever.
Kyle Fielder says, does Robert Pattinson begin filming another movie? Yes, the Odyssey.
It's called the Odyssey, yeah.
Thank you, Kyle. Kyle also says, did you ever look at the Jeff Sneider Scoops goggle doc I sent you last week, Jeff?
Yes, I did, Kyle, because it looked like it took a ton of work. Now, I was a little afraid because I don't like looking at my own stuff or like, reading my stuff after it's out. But so I didn't look at it too closely, but I do appreciate the effort that it took to make that. And I thank you sincerely.
There you go. I should see him try to look at himself in the mirror. He does not like to do it. Yank says, Happy New Year, guys. Love the show. What are the chances of another Jackass movie? 25th anniversary is in 2025.
I think you have to.
Yeah. Even if it kills him, which it might.
That's what it should be called, Jackass, even if it kills him. Even if Johnny doesn't do anything, you need him as the ringleader. You need him as the face of Jackass hosting the movie. Yeah. But I'm totally fine if he's not in a major stunt. If he's just doing pranks and stuff, and the stunts fall to the great, the legend, the iconic Poopies.
Poopies. There you go.
Remember Poopies?
I do, of course. I love that last Jackass film. That was a lot.
Really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Team Poopies.
Please do not let Johnny get hit by any more bulls. That was harrowing. He's too old. Kai says the way to intro Batman to the DCU is a cameo in Lanterns. Ooh, same dark tone as Batman. Also, Jeff, I cried like a baby watching The Wild Robot as well. Yeah, that's a good film. That's a good film, Jeff.
Yeah, it was it got me for sure at the end. It's not a bad idea, but I mean, if we're talking about John's like, oh, you can't intro Batman into the GCU and Clayface. Now we're gonna do it in fucking lanterns and an HBO show on the television.
I mean, yeah, agreed. But if you're going to Brave and Bold Batman, that could be the way to go. But if it's Pattinson, yeah, I think I'd have a hard time with that cameo in Lanterns. Even though you got some strong actors being a part of Lanterns and it is a dark, investigative tone, but still. Ross Alhim says, Fantastic Four is my most anticipated movie for 2025. Do you have any of your buzz for me, Jeff? Happy New Year's to you guys. Happy New Year to you, too. Any buzz on Fantastic Four?
I don't, actually. Okay. I don't have any buzz, but I still just can't believe it's coming out 2 weeks after Superman. I don't believe it, and I think it's going to change dates with the Predator movie. That's what I think.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Jack Sullivan says, if influencers / critics / podcasters take selfies with celebs at Critics' Choice this year, do you respect their opinion? Was surprised Christian did this last year. Well, it's a different situation. That's a party atmosphere, and you're there. I've taken pictures with Travolta and other people there that night. You're just meeting some of the people that you've enjoyed their work over the years. You want to take a picture with them. That's different. You know, that's different.
I don't judge these people for taking selfies. Like, you go down my dad's basement, it's photos with me and celebrities, right?
Right.
Like, it's the sheer parade. It's one thing that, hey, I got a photo with so-and-so and so-and-so tonight. It's not, I went to every table like it's fucking Halloween, going trick-or-treating, okay, going door to door, asking for selfies with these people who have no choice but to say yes. They're locked in a room with you.
Yeah.
I'm more embarrassed for the talent that parades that gives into this circus and parades around it, hoping it will improve their chances to get a real award. No one is like is leaving the CCA calling their parents being like, I just want a Critics' Choice. I'm sorry.
Yeah, fair point. All right. Samo says, thoughts on Sonic 3. Have you seen it yet? I have not seen it yet. Jeff, have you?
Didn't see it. It's a movie for kids.
Oh my God.
And it's not animation.
Come on, it's Jim Carrey. And it is, well, yeah, it's kind of it. Simon Section, John, are you familiar with the TV show anime Ulysses 31? I am not. An updated version of the Greek mythology Odyssey set in the 31st century. Wow, came out in the 1980s. Also loving Squid Game season 2, down the last 2 episodes. I've been unable to watch Squid Game because the love of my life hasn't been home for 4 days. She's up in LA with her family, celebrating the rest of Christmas with her mom, who came down from the top of California.
Surprise! Right here watching the show.
I have to hold on. It's driving me nuts. And for you British people, I also haven't watched the Gavin and Stacey finale, which is also driving me nuts because that's one of our favorite shows.
I watched the first episode last night, John.
Do you like it?
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a little slow to start, but the second half of the first episode, I was like screaming at the TV.
Damn it. All right.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. And I will check out Ulysses. Thanks for that suggestion.
You have to avoid a minefield on social media, by the way. I know. Can't even imagine, like, Variety's already done its absolute best, trying its absolute hardest to spoil this show for everybody.
As soon as I see the headline say Squid Game season 2, I immediately scroll past. I don't look even.
It is crazy what's going on out there.
Yeah. Lovecock says, where's Patty Jenkins? She disappeared after Wonder Woman 84. Yeah, Jeff, where is Patty Jenkins?
I don't know, but I know where her ideas are.
Oh, interesting. All right. Brandon, what's up, Brandon? Says, sup, guys, been a while. My 2025 predictions are some studio will announce the development of either Goonies remake or Back to the Future. Whether the rumors already about the Goonies 2 being shot somewhere, but
being shot. Are you talking about Steven Spielberg being shot somewhere? Because until he is, Back to the Future ain't happening, buddy.
Jeff, real quick, 2 predictions for 2025. We had said we were going to do that. Let's do it real quick. I know we got a lot of questions, but let's. What do you got? Anything quick?
God, I don't want to step on.
You wanted to do this. It was your suggestion.
No, I didn't prepare any.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I've got 3. How about that? Would you want to go? Or do you want to wait?
You go.
Kathleen Kennedy will leave Lucasfilm in 2025. I'll tell you that right now. I think Fox will acquire most of Warner Brothers Discovery assets because that correlates to the audience that they cater to, and that makes all the sense in the world to me. And I think more filmmakers, I saw this in Hollywood Reporter, and I agree with this, more filmmakers will now start to go with studios who guarantee theatrical releases of their films. I think they're going to do less streaming, these noted filmmakers, and will go more exclusively with studios that are going to guarantee them theatrical releases for their movies. And I think Greta Gerwig is a shining example of that as she battles Netflix to get that Narnia shit out into the theaters. So those are three of mine for right now.
Okay. How about Warner Brothers releases Coyote versus Acme?
Wow. Now, are these based on anything, or you're just predicting? You're just predicting.
These are predictions.
Okay. Look at the brain on
yes. Warner Brothers releases Coyote versus Acme. Yeah. Superman is such a huge hit. James Gunn uses his clout to get that movie out.
Wow. That's a great prediction. I hope that happens.
Okay. Shit. Okay, hold on. Okay.
All right. Should we move? You want to move on, or do you want to do this?
Timothy Chalamet.
Okay.
Needs to be turned into a man. Needs to do something gritty, right?
Okay.
So he works with Taylor Sheridan.
Ooh.
And my last one.
Maybe in a Western.
Shit. My last one is. Fuck. My last one is that Brad Pitt stars in the Squid Game remake.
Oh! Oh, I like that idea. That's a great one. Yep. I applaud that one. Those are good predictions. And are you going to write predictions in your newsletter, Jeff? Should people subscribe?
Maybe, yeah, at some point. If only I had the time, guys. If only I had the time.
All right. Bloodshot says Ray Fiennes is playing Odysseus right now in a movie about the Odyssey right now called The Return. Yes, we covered that earlier. Thank you, Bloodshot, for following up on that. Owen Lanning says, Jeff, looks like you're going to get me in the fantasy championship. Oh, you made it to the finals. Good job.
Don't jinx me, baby. The fuck dogs are in the finals. We're off to a great start. Started Xavier Worthy, started Derrick Henry.
Ooh. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, but it ain't over till it's over there, Owen. I know what you're up to, buddy. You're trying to jinx me.
Trying to do the old Boston jinx, the reverse jinx. Spreezy Sports says, greetings from Melbourne. A few days ago, THR posted an article claiming Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi would begin filming in fall of 2025. Is this true? I did not see that article. It doesn't sound true to me. What about you, Jeff?
I didn't see that article either, but I did see a production listing that said December 2025.
Okay.
Which some people think December is the fall for some reason. I think it could be true.
Okay.
I think it could be true, but I still think that Sean Levy and that movie could go before then. And I think that Sean Levy, like I said, that his movie will be next. Gotcha.
Yeah. This was off of a THR article, which had House of Cards creator Bo Willimon hired to write the script for James Mangold's Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi. It has Dawn of the Jedi shooting next fall, which was in the THR article. So that was what it was attached to. So
I see.
Maybe. Spreezy Sports also says, Jeff, will you post Zelda movie news in your newsletter when you hear anything? I'm struggling over here. Ha, ha, ha.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, believe me, if I hear anything about Zelda, you'll be the first ones to know.
There you go.
Lord Baratheon. They're all.
Say that again?
It's a Sony movie, right?
True. Lord Baratheon said, have you heard anything about Captain America 4 recently? Just the reshoots.
When you say, yeah, I haven't really heard anything about it. I just have the utmost confidence in my boy Anthony Mackie. God bless him.
I agree. He's great.
I think it's fun. Fuck you guys. This is me defending a Marvel movie that everyone thinks looks shitty. I think it's going to be good. So there.
He could be good. It's got nothing to do with the movie. Wayne Edwards says, happy holidays, gentlemen. Thank you for a great year of information. Oh, thanks you for a year of great information and entertainment. You guys are head and shoulders above the rest. Jeff, what was the name of the script about AI you read that blew your mind? Oh, you sent it to me, I think. Yeah.
Alignment.
There you go.
Alignment.
Thank you, Wayne, for the very kind donation. And thanks for hanging out with us, brother. Yeah, best. Brandon back again. I think Marvel and Marvel fans have to be on. Wait, let me say something real quick. Wayne, I love all you guys who are watching us right now. Your responsibility in 2025 is to get us into more people's ears and in front of more people's eyes. So do your job of retweeting the show, copying the link and putting it on your social media to get more people to come watch this show.
Wayne, social media baller?
I'm saying we got to get more people watching the show so we can qualify to get ads, to maybe do a live show and have that paid by people showing up. So there are plans, but you all got to do your part and help.
Do your job, Wayne. Do your job.
It's a part, not job. Brandon says, I think Marvel and Marvel fans have to be on with the fact that every property may not be a trilogy and the characters will still appear in other films. Properties like Eternals or Shang-Chi, for example. Yeah.
I agree that not every character needs, its own trilogy. I
agree.
That said, Shang-Chi probably deserved a sequel.
We should have had a sequel by now. It's ridiculous we haven't. Max Law says half of the Sundance 2025 lineup is available for online viewing. Will Jeff be investing in online tickets?
Now? It's already available now?
Apparently.
Half of the lineup? That's crazy. That seems impossible. I hadn't even thought about it. I just really was not impressed by the Sundance lineup, and there was nothing that I saw on it where I was like, oh, I need to see that right away.
Okay. James Deziel says Pattinson is the Cyclops. I don't think he'll play two superheroes at once.
Yeah, I don't see that being the future for our boy either.
Yeah. Jay Barrett Mash says, have you guys heard anything about Caroline? It's the new film from Adam Raymeyer starring Samara Weaving and Kyle Gallner. Happy holidays. I've not heard anything. Jeff, have you?
You had me at Adam Raymeyer, baby. Obviously, he's the director of Dinner in America, which is a fantastic movie with Kyle Gallner. He also did Snack Shack with Gabe LaBelle. Didn't love Snack Shack quite as much, but I did name the Fuck Dogs after Snack Shack.
There you go. Nice.
So, love Raymeyer. Definitely curious to see what he's doing next.
Anthony Beltray says, any updates on Sadie Sink for X-Men?
No. Again, that was just a hot rumor. Yeah. And I like where that came from.
Okay. Christopher Seaberger says, Skeleton Crew is the most fun I have with Star Wars for a long time. Yeah, I haven't watched the new episode. We are going to be reviewing it tomorrow on the Geek Buddies and on the Jedi Way on Sunday. So look for our reviews then. I took a couple days off for Christmas. Jack Sullivan says, cheers for a great 2024, guys. Great show. Thank you, Jack. Nerdy Mastermind says, if Superman performs well financially and on Rotten Tomatoes, how quickly do you guys predict we will hear James and Peter renew their contracts at DC?
I think if Superman's the huge hit that they want it to be.
Yeah. We'll see. And then Michael says, any news on Fast 11, Jeff? Who's coming? Who's there? Who we got there?
Gatsby.
Oh. Any news on Fast 11?
No.
I haven't heard anything either.
How many more of these we got?
5 more. Hang on. We're going to rock these out. Love Daggerborn says, how long do you think Amazon will wait for Eon before selling the James Bond distribution rights? Amazon seems eager to expand the franchise with spinoffs, TV shows, and a non-male Bond, while Eon prefers sticking to the traditional formula. Yeah, Jeff, that came out this week that there is a battle going on behind the scenes with the Broccoli producers there and Amazon over Bond. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I don't see them selling the Bond rights.
Yeah.
Maybe on her deathbed or something like that. I don't know if she has kids to pass it down to or whatever, but that's something you keep in the family. I don't think you sell that for any price necessarily. But yeah, that whole feud is hilarious, and doubly more so because it's been covered in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
This isn't just like the Sneider throwing out some gossip about, oh, so-and-so said this in a meeting. It's the Wall Street Journal, so pretty funny.
Fredtastic 314 says, happy holidays to the hot mic. Thank you, Fred. What is your biggest box office surprise of 2024? It could be either a hit or a bomb. Mine is Inside Out 2 because I never thought it would cross $1 billion, let alone $1.6 billion.
The answer is Blake Lively's It Ends With Us.
The answer is Joker 2.
That was a pretty big surprise. I will grant you that. But as far as wins go, Long Legs and It Ends With Us was a pretty big hit.
Fair point. Vinny_Chase says, what are some of your favorite trailers of the year? Some that got you hyped, but some you thought were edited really well.
Trailers?
Yeah.
I'm going to be weighing in on trailers real soon, but I did see Los Freakies this week. Loved it.
Oh, cool.
That has a really good trailer. In the Summers is a movie that I haven't even seen, but it's like one of the more acclaimed indie dramas of the year. That has a good trailer too.
Okay. Best trailers of 2024. I don't know. I'll have to take a look. I do a list that no one else does. Okay. Yeah. No one else in the space. I pride myself on this list, and that is the best trailer songs of the year. And I am working on that again this year. Nice. Jeff Wasson says, thanks, John Jeff, for all that you do. I love these weekly meetings of the minds. Keep that mic hot in 2025. Thanks, baby. Thank you, Jeff. Samuel says, any word on Paul Verhoeven's return to making an English feature film? I heard that he was planning an erotic thriller film. Paul Verhoeven was planning an erotic thriller film? Yeah, when is he not planning an erotic movie? No, I haven't heard anything. Okay. I would say the Trap trailer was good. I'd say 28 years later was good. I thought the Thunderbolts trailer was good. And that was a really surprise for me, the Thunderbolts trailer. So I would throw that out. And I thought that Sinners trailer was fucking excellent. Fred says, exec notes have forced the directors to make the movie studio wants, and when it fails, these executives need to be held accountable. I agree. It'll never fucking happen. Jeff? I mean, sometimes executives are held accountable. It just depends on for what and who they are. And by who are they being held accountable by? I guess, they get fired usually. Baldy says, hi, Jeff. Given that Batman is Gunn's favorite superhero and Damian being his favorite Robin, do you think it's possible that Gunn's next movie will be Brave and the Bold? I do. Do you really? Okay. I mean, I don't know about Brave and the Bold, but no, I don't think that he's going to do Brave and the Bold and Matt's going to do Batman too. No, I don't think that. Forgive me. Okay. All right. But I think he wants to get his hands on Batman. Yeah. I think he does too. I think so. I mean, those are the top two characters. Who wouldn't? Slaw said, thoughts on films releasing in Christmas of 2025. Is this too crowded? Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Avatar 3, SpongeBob movie, Anaconda, Marty Supreme, The Housemaid. This is a law of diminishing returns after you go past Avatar 3. So I don't think that's too much. All those movies, I think they're all on my list. I'm looking forward to all of them. But really? Yeah, it's going to be a good Christmas. It's going to be a little crowded, but more commercial than this year, I thought. Yeah. Although Nosferatu has surprised. I mean, Nosferatu, Baby Girl, A Complete Unknown. It's not like, what am I seeing with my family that day? Yeah. It ain't Nosferatu with the family. R.I.P. Greg Gumbel, yes. Yes. What Real Entertainment says, hope you two are having a good holiday season. When it comes to the Batman, I'm with Jeff. I'd rather wait for part 2. The Batman is personally my favorite film of all time, even as much as I'm pimping Gunn Superman. Aroka, you can introduce bats in Clayface. You cannot, Matt. That's why you don't run a studio, Matt. You cannot do that. Matt also says, I say this because if Clayface is going to be a smaller film, what better way to put asses in seats for it than the word of mouth that our Pat's Patton is now in the DCU and having his first look at him in that universe. Got to wonder if Alan Tudyk will be Clayface. Oh, that could be fun. No, because Batman is not to be used to put butts in seats at this point because he's not already in the universe. It'd be different if he was in the universe like they had with Ben Affleck in Suicide Squad, showing up to fight Joker and Harley. That makes sense because it had already been established. But not if he hasn't been established as the DCU Batman yet. I think you're putting the cart before the horse if you do. Jeff, am I wrong? Am I an idiot? You're never wrong. I'd be the first person to call you an idiot, too. Yes, you would be. Tess, Jeff, have you heard anything about the Matrix film from Drew Goddard? No. Radio silence on that. Totally forgot it was even happening. Interesting. All right, last 4. We got to go. Tristan says, what would you say Disney is going to do after remaking all of their classics? Spin them off with characters from those classics, right? That seems to make sense. It's a good question. I think Disney, I don't know, maybe they end up buying like a huge video game company this year. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good prediction. Jay Scoot says, over under on the runtime for Nolan's The Odyssey, 3 hours. I'm gonna say he looks at Brady Corbett, okay, and goes 3.5 and says, I want a fucking intermission too. Wow. James Desiel says Barbara Broccoli should take over Lucasfilm. No. And I also meant Cyclops in the Odyssey. Oh, Pattinson could play Cyclops, the one-eyed Cyclops. You don't hire a good-looking Pattinson then put him behind a one-eyed thing.
That's what these actors want to do. They want to ugly themselves up for great directors.
Only if you're going to win an Oscar. You're not going to win an Oscar playing the fucking Cyclops in an Odyssey. Get out of here. Eric Kirby says, Greg Gumbel passed away. Damn, yeah, Eric. Sad. 78 years old, I think. 76, 78. Died of cancer today. Such a shame. What a great sportscaster and a great host. All right, that's it, Jeff. That's all the questions. That's all. We got to go. Please let people know where they can find you and where they can subscribe to the InSneider newsletter.
The insnider.com, guys. Make it a happy new year for me. I appreciate it so much. Happy holidays to you all. Be safe. Yeah. And yeah, 2025. It's going to be a banger.
Banger. Yes, absolutely. As for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky now. They're at The Rocha Says as well. Get my numbers up there on Blue Sky. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell below so you know when we're dropping all things. Leave your comments. And more than anything else, send this out to all the people who follow you on your social media, because that's essentially you saying, this is a good show. If you like my judgment on things, take a chance on this show. So support us through 2025 by doing that as well. But thanks for an awesome year on the Hot Mic. Thanks for coming back every week.
That's
and the new people come on, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even when I can't stand some of you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. And we love busting your balls. You love busting our balls.
Exactly.
Thank you for understanding what the show is and supporting it. All right. Have yourselves a happy new year. For Jeff Sneider, I'm the Outlaw John Rocha, and we are out of here on the Hot Mic. Peace, take care, and we'll see you in 2025.